Take a moment and rub your hands together. This simple gesture, so ordinary and instinctive today, represents one of the greatest shields ever discovered in the history of medicine. Yet, in the mid-19th century, such an action was not only dismissed, but openly mocked. At that time, a terrifying and invisible killer roamed freely through maternity wards across Europe. Puerperal fever, a ruthless infection that struck new mothers with chilling suddenness. It began with shivers and high fever, advanced into unbearable abdominal pain, and often ended with death within 48 hours. Hospitals, meant to offer safety and hope, became places of whispered fear, where women prayed for survival more than for the joy of childbirth. Into this grim reality emerged Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis, a young physician whose brilliance, persistence, and tragic downfall would reshape the course of medical history. In 1846, he joined the prestigious Vienna General Hospital, where the maternity department was divided into two sharply contrasting clinics. The first clinic, staffed by medical students, suffered shockingly high mortality rates, 3 to 5 times higher than the second clinic, which was run by midwives. Women were so terrified of the first clinic that many begged on their knees not to be admitted there. Some even gave birth in the street, believing that doing so increased their chances of staying alive. Semmelweis refused to accept these horrifying statistics as an unavoidable mystery. He pursued answers with relentless determination, analyzing every element he could imagine: room ventilation, overcrowding, birthing positions, patient diets, seasonal temperature shifts, even the emotional impact of a priest's nightly procession carrying a bell. Yet none of the accepted medical theories of the time, rooted in the outdated belief that miasma, or polluted air, caused disease, could explain why well-trained physicians produced far worse outcomes than midwives. The contradiction tormented him. Everything changed in 1847 when tragedy struck. Semmelweis's colleague, Jakob Kolechka, died after being accidentally cut by a student while performing an autopsy. His rapid decline, marked by intense fever, inflammation, and systemic collapse, was identical to the symptoms seen in the dying mothers of the first clinic. In a single moment of clarity, Semmelweis understood the horrifying truth. Each morning, medical students performed autopsies on corpses and then, without thoroughly cleansing their hands, examined living women in labor. Their hands carried what Semmelweis called cadaverous particles, microscopic traces of infection, directly into the bodies of vulnerable mothers. The midwives, who never participated in autopsies, avoided this deadly contamination entirely. Determined to stop the slaughter, Semmelweis ordered every doctor and student to wash their hands and forearms with a solution of chlorinated lime before touching any patient. The impact was immediate and astonishing. Mortality in the first clinic plummeted from over 18% to nearly 1%, matching the much safer second clinic. A simple act of sanitation achieved what generations of medical doctrine could not. But instead of receiving praise, Semmelweis encountered fierce backlash. His discovery implied a devastating accusation that respected doctors, elite, educated, and proud, had been responsible for the deaths of countless women. Many refused to accept the possibility. Colleagues dismissed his findings as offensive and unscientific. His superiors rejected his data outright, and journals refused to publish his research. Pride, tradition, and the rigid hierarchy of medicine proved stronger than truth. Semmelweis fought desperately. He wrote letters, challenged opponents publicly, and eventually produced a comprehensive book documenting his discovery. Yet his tone, sharpened by grief and frustration, alienated many of the very people he needed to convince. Over time, the relentless rejection eroded his mental health. In 1865, he was committed to an asylum under unclear circumstances. Within weeks, he died from an infected wound, tragically echoing the very disease he had spent his life trying to eliminate. Only later, through the groundbreaking work of Louis Pasteur and Joseph Lister, would the world finally recognize the truth Semmelweis had uncovered years earlier. Germ theory validated his suspicions, and antiseptic procedures became the foundation of modern medicine. Today, he is honored worldwide as the savior of mothers, a visionary whose discovery came far too early for his contemporaries to accept. His story remains a powerful and timeless reminder. Sometimes the simplest truths demand the greatest courage, and sometimes the world is not ready for the brilliance that could save it. If this story resonated with you, a like or a comment would mean a lot. No pressure. Your support simply helps us continue bringing these narratives to life.